Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to do a highly requested video, which is the review of the newest release from Kayali, Vanilla Rock Sugar 42. So without too much further ado, you guys, let's get right on into today's review. And if you're new here, I would love if you would consider subscribing. Also, if you've tried this fragrance, please let me know down below what your thoughts were, whether you loved it, whether it was a letdown, or whether you were somewhere in the middle, or you have yet to try it, and are you intrigued by this fragrance? Okay guys, so here in front of me I have the new Kayali fragrance. This is the Kayali Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar 42. I wanted to do a review of this, and for full disclosure, I do think I have a bottle of this coming in PR, but I purchased the travel size before I knew I was getting a bottle coming in PR. And I think that's what is coming to me. I got a random notification from Huda Beauty that I'm expecting something coming in PR, and I'm guessing it's this perfume. But I had already purchased this travel size before getting that notification because I was curious and I wanted to try it, and also because I had seen that a lot of people had already received PR and I hadn't yet, so I just assumed I wasn't getting a bottle. And as always, my opinion and my review is going to be completely honest, regardless of the fact that I seem to continue getting PR from Kayali, which I'm really grateful for. To be very honest, you guys, a lot of their releases over the last, I don't know, a year or so have not been my cup of tea. I really liked the Royal Vanilla Sugared Patchouli. That was like a beautiful oud vanilla scent. It was really unique and smelled expensive and it smelled opulent. That one I did really like. But after that, nothing really struck my fancy, if you want to put it that way. The Yum Pistachio Gelato wasn't my favorite. The Love Fest Burning Cherry, I don't love cherry. That one was okay. The Oudgasm collection was quite nice, but none of them were like lifers for me. I really liked the Cafe Oud one. The vanilla one was way too sweet. The Wedding collection was quite nice, but not like super remarkable, but they were nice. I feel like that is the direction that Kayali is sort of going. I feel like they pump out a lot of new fragrances all the time because it's really good, easy money. Like, it's people buy Kayali fragrances. People get excited. They have really good PR. They have good advertising, rather. Their campaigns are amazing. They've got a huge social media presence that people just get suckered into. Like, the promoting and the advertising for Kayali fragrances is huge. And I get suckered into it too. Every new release they come out with, I get super excited and I look forward to it and I want to try it. But honestly, like the last one that came out, I can't remember the name of it. It was like a, whatever it was, sparkling champagne lychee, I think, the lychee one. That one wasn't for me. And I'll get into my thoughts on this one, but just so that you guys know, like, that's kind of where I feel. But yeah, for some reason I always get suckered into these perfumes. So this is Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar. I haven't seen any other reviews about this. I've only spoken to a couple people online, and I posted a picture of this on my Instagram, and I've seen a couple people give their thoughts there. And so I've heard the opinions of a couple of friends and people that I know online. But that's it. So I don't know how the general consensus is. I don't know if people are loving this, people are not liking it. Let's go ahead and open the box here. So very pretty presentation. The Kayali perfumes always have a beautiful presentation. It has the keynotes listed on the back here: candied pear, sweet violet, bubblegum, white caramel, rock sugar, and vanilla cream. The only note that I was concerned about when I saw these notes was the bubblegum, because I'm not a huge fan of bubblegummy scents. I don't like bubblegummy tuberose. I didn't like that Moschino, that pink one that smelled like bubblegum. I just don't like the scent of bubblegum very much in perfume. So let's go ahead and open this. I will tell you what the full note breakdown is, and then I will spray it for you and tell you my thoughts. And I did actually wear this all day yesterday, so I can give you guys a thought as to like my final formed thoughts, how I feel about this. Okay, so first of all, the bottle is really beautiful, even the travel size bottle. The reason I got this travel size versus a full bottle is because I didn't want to be wasteful. If I didn't like it, I didn't want to have to return a full bottle to Sephora. If anything, I thought I can give the travel size to my daughter, or I can give it to a friend or something like that. Okay, so the notes that you have in Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar 42 are vanilla, pear, marshmallow, rum, violet leaves, and ylang-ylang in the opening. In the middle, you have bubblegum, jelly bean, jasmine, caramel, and labdanum. And in the base, you have sugar, patchouli, vetiver, cashmere wood, tonka bean, and sandalwood. Okay. Give it a spray here. And you don't need much. It's actually pretty strong. Okay, so on first spray, it's quite powdery and very sweet. You definitely do get like the pear, you get this kind of marshmallowiness to it. I don't pick up straight up bubblegum per se. Like I don't know if I didn't know bubblegum was in here, I don't think I would have noticed it. Like it's very well blended, I'll say that. It's the overall impression when I first spray it is it's young smelling and very, very sweet. Doesn't come across as a super expensive smelling perfume right off the hop. My first initial impression when I smelled it was kind of like neither here nor there. I didn't really like it. I didn't really terribly dislike it. It was somewhere in the middle. It was like, if I had to give it a rating out of 10 on the initial spray, I would say it was like a 4 out of 10. If I would have been in Sephora and I would have sprayed this, I don't think I would have given it a second thought. I probably would have just smelled it and thought, that's too sweet, not really my cup of tea. And I probably would have left it. It goes somewhere in almost a Viktor and Rolf direction. Not that it smells like Viktor and Rolf, but you know how Viktor and Rolf is very sweet. They've got patchouli, they've got the florals. They smell very candied. They have like some osmanthus and some fruity notes. And they're just overly sweet. Like Viktor and Rolf Flower Bomb Nectar, and the pink bottle, is it Ruby Orchid that came up from Viktor and Rolf? All good, but tooth-achingly sweet. I would say this kind of goes a little bit in that direction, but this one is more candy-like. It's more youthful. It's not as sophisticated smelling as the Viktor and Rolfs. The Viktor and Rolfs are, yes, tooth-achingly sweet, but this one is less sophisticated and a little bit more youthful smelling. Also, I immediately got it invoked the memory of another perfume that a lot of other people have also picked up, and some of those people have told me online, and that is it does bear a resemblance to Jean Paul Gaultier La Belle. I'm sure you guys have heard other people talk about this because a friend of mine told this to me. Another person that I talked to online quite a bit said the same thing. Somebody had mentioned it in the comments on my Instagram. So it seems like that's a pretty general consensus. A lot of people find that this smells a lot like Jean Paul Gaultier La Belle. Where it differs, Jean Paul Gaultier La Belle also has a bit of a depth to it. I believe that there's leather in that fragrance. It has a bit more of a depth to it, and it's very potent and has incredible sillage and smells kind of sexy and mature in a sense. Even though it smells youthful and fun and clubby, it still smells like something you would wear to be sexy as, you know, mid-20s, late 20s and up. This smells more like it's trying to be sexy for like teenager, early 20s, maybe. So if La Belle is your older sister and she's very mature and all of that kind of stuff, this is like the younger sister version of La Belle. This one is also sweeter, if you can imagine. Like, in my opinion, Jean Paul Gaultier La Belle is extremely sweet. It's one of the sweetest perfumes I've ever smelled. I like it. I used to actually have La Belle, and for some reason it didn't stick around. It just maybe was a little too strong for me. I liked it. It was one of the most interesting, beautiful, like, it was one of the best perfumes I'd probably ever smelt. It was such a masterpiece in a sense in its category. Everyone loved it when it first came out. It was extremely popular. I really liked it, but it just wasn't something that I gravitated toward a ton. And at some point I did eventually end up letting it go. And I've recently revisited the store and tried to rewear La Belle, and every time I would spray it, a part of me likes it, but a part of me got immediately very overwhelmed and very sick of it very quickly. I found it quite headache inducing. This one, if you can imagine, is sweeter than La Belle. Not as strong though, but it does give me a bit of a headache. It's sort of like almost tooth-achingly sweet. If you like those sort of tooth-achingly sweet fragrances, you might really like this one. I think it's an overall nice scent. I don't know if it's for me. The longer it starts to dry down, the more it does start to become similar to La Belle. I think this is a good scent for what it is. I think that if La Belle didn't exist, people might be going kind of bonkers over this scent. But because we've already seen La Belle before, and we've seen La Belle done better, I think that's where people are like, I don't know. Like, even the friend of mine who had this said if she was going to go in this direction, she would just go for Labelle, because Labelle is actually less expensive. You can get Labelle on discount websites like Fragrance Buy, Fragrance Net, perfumeonline.ca, places like that. You're going to be paying like $70 or $80 Canadian for a large bottle because it's been around so long. And that perfume has monster performance and monster sillage, and it's going to perform better. And it's also better done, I think, and it smells more mature and sophisticated. And super, super sexy. So this is kind of like, it's almost like too close to Labelle for people, I think, to really love. But some people seem to really love this. I don't know. Part of me likes it, but I don't think I would want to wear it. Yesterday I did have it on, and honestly, you guys, for the first like 45 minutes to an hour, I kind of wanted to wash it off. It was just too sweet. It was kind of headachy, like toothacheingly sweet. I wanted to wash it off. It was kind of a scrubber. I felt that it smelled cheap. I felt that it smelled very synthetic, not super refined, not super elegant, not super sophisticated. And this could be because my tastes have been changing a lot lately. I feel like if I would have smelled this 20 years ago, I would have been in love with it. It kind of almost has like an Aquilina pink sugar feel to it. Not that it smells the same, but it gives that kind of feeling. And Aquilina pink sugar used to be my favorite scent in the world. If you like those toothacheingly sweet, girly, young scents, you might really like this. So as this started to dry down, the longer it dried down, the more it became sort of tolerable for me, in the sense that it wasn't as headachy. It wasn't as sweet. It sort of started to mellow out a little bit and become a little bit more sort of like soft, powdery, vanillic, and a little bit more creamy, sort of. The first like hour, honestly, you guys, was like just a mess for me. It was just a sweet concoction of just a big old mess of sweetness. And I know that this is the same for like most perfumes, but you have to remember that 70% of perfumes, a lot of perfumes, are just alcohol. And then the other 30% is like the good stuff, like the good stuff that they put into it, depending on the concentration of the perfume. And I feel like, I don't know, like I kind of got the impression, like, I feel like they just throw a bunch of stuff together that sort of smells okay, and like they market it because they know people are going to buy it. And it just kind of comes across as like, I don't know, not worth the money to me. I feel like quite a few of their perfumes, to me, are not really worth the money. Like the champagne lychee, sparkling lychee one. That one was also really, really sweet. Just too much for me. Smelled too young. A little bit lipsticky. Didn't love it. Not that worth the price. Like, I'm not going to pay almost $200 for a bottle of perfume that smells like that. I will pay $200 for a bottle of Xerjoff. I will pay even $300 for Tom Ford, because Tom Ford has incredibly unique and sophisticated and expensive smelling perfumes, and there's something about it. I will pay $200 even for Viktor and Rolf. I don't know. They're not giving, I think that they're catering toward an audience that maybe is just too young for me. I think that's what it is. When it came to Kayali's perfumes, I loved Vanilla 28. I used up almost an entire bottle. I couldn't finish it because I was just kind of sick of it. I had worn it so much. I really liked their Citrus 08. I really liked their Musk fragrance. However, that one didn't have very good performance. I didn't care for their Elixir. Those were the first 4 perfumes that Kayali came out with. Royal Vanilla Sugared Patchouli, it was split down the middle. Some people loved it, some people didn't like it at all. And that was one of their most mature fragrances, that was also the most unique, also the most like pushed the boundaries a little bit. It was the most niche smelling. And that perfume kind of like maybe flopped for them a little bit, like it did okay. But I think they've realized that the perfumes that seem to do the best, especially among a younger age demographic, are like the super bubblegummy sweet ones, the Yum Pistachio, the Sparkling Lychee, the Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar, like the ones that are super, super gooey sweet are the ones that the younger crowd gravitates toward. And that's a huge crowd. That's a huge market. So I feel like that's the direction that they go in, and it's just not me. Like, I don't feel that this smells sophisticated or elegant or anything. It smells to me almost like a $10 cotton candy body mist I would get from Walmart. I don't know. It's kind of like Viktor and Rolf Flower Bomb meets Aquilina Pink Sugar. So I I can't say that I really enjoyed wearing this one. After the day had gone by, and I kind of got little whiffs of it outside as I was walking outside of stores and stuff. And sometimes I would catch it and I would think, oh, that's like a little bit pleasant. And then the next time I would catch it and I would think, oh my gosh, that smells kind of cheap. Like, oh, I don't like that. It doesn't mean it's a bad scent at all. It just isn't for me. It just isn't something I enjoy and would want to wear. It's just not my cup of tea. Between this and sparkling lychee, if that's what it's called, I think that's what it's called, I do prefer this. The lychee one was too fruity. I'm not much of a fruity person. Between this and Vanilla 28, it is hands down 100% Vanilla 28 all the way. Between this and Yum Pistachio, 100% Yum Pistachio. I actually liked Yum Pistachio. It just wasn't like head over heels, something I loved enough that I wanted to keep it forever and ever. But I liked Yum Pistachio. Even to this day, if I go into Sephora, I smell it and I really like it. But this one just, I think, is just a little too young for me, a little too sweet, kind of gives me a bit of a headache. Doesn't make it's almost like nauseating to me how sweet this is. If you like this kind of scents, because some people really like that, I think you would really like this. Patchouli is in there, but it's not like crazy, but it is there. If you don't like patchouli fragrances, you're not going to like this. The other thing too, it almost reminds me a little bit of La Belle actually, but I like La Belle better, which is going to be hard to believe because some people find La Belle like, again, over the top sweet, too sweet and too like suffocating and headache inducing. La Belle has a sophistication about it that makes it a little bit more like age appropriate. It spans many more ages. You can wear it when you're younger. You can wear it when you're much older. This one is just like a little younger. So that's my take on this one. It's kind of like Victor and Rolf Flower Bomb, Aquilina Pink Sugar, La Belle. They all kind of got together and had a baby. And then they added like this sort of powdery bubblegummy cotton candiness to it, and that's what it is. It's just too much for me. Even smelling it on the strip now, it's kind of bothering me a lot. And yeah, I asked my daughter what she thought about this, just for some context. My daughter's 14 years old, or she'll be 14 right away, and she just thought it was okay. She was like, that's okay, but she loves Vanilla 28. Just to give you some more context. So that's it. That's all I have to say. Longevity, you guys, it lasted pretty decently. No complaints with longevity. Like I could smell it all day, 8+ hours at least. Lasted in my clothing, like I said, until I took my shirt off. It probably still smells like that in the laundry. Sillage, pretty good. Again, like moderate, not weak, not strong. So in terms of the performance, not bad. I think it's good value for money in that regard. But for me, it's just like the scent profile that isn't for me. So that's it for today's video, guys. Those are my thoughts on the newest fragrance from Kayali. Let me know down below if you are interested in trying this perfume at all. If you've already tried it, what were your thoughts? Or do you think you're just going to pass on this release? And I'll see you guys all very soon in my next video. Bye for now.